What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Movement6, and it's a sad period for the Call of Duty franchise, in my opinion. Now, whether you like it or not, whether you're hating on it or not, I'm not going to hate on it per se, but you can't just ignore that there is a general controversy constantly around every yearly release of Call of Duty, and I fail to understand why a community just constantly repetitive comes back to the same things and eventually start the year over with all the things you previously had being taken away from you and then being rebranded and reslapped with $70-$80 and then resold for your hard-earned cash. And every time you absorb the same things, and we're going through the same cycle, and it's getting worse. It's getting exponentially worse. And one of the things that is actually bothering me is that it's not a game anymore. It's not. On one hand, it's some form of an obsession for people. I guess obsession to shine or to do all kinds of tricks and no life the hell out of a game, and then clip that and then show off and talk smack about people have no skill or whatever. I don't understand that competitive drive that you have for something that cannot even be considered a game anymore. Because I looked up the definition. What is the proper definition of a game? A physical or mental competition conducted according to rules with the participants in direct opposition to each other. So, yeah, sure, we're spawning on both ends of a map, so we're in direct opposition of each other. But it also would imply that the level playing field is always and constantly the same. And it's not. The game is not only rigged, it is manipulated by an algorithm to make sure that you will never actually shine in the end. And that's the weird, I think that's the weird part of Call of Duty. I think it's a bit schizophrenic, if you will, because they're trying to level out the scene to protect, obviously, the weak Timmies, right? I'm a Gen Xer, I'm 1979. We didn't know anything about weak Timmies, safe spaces, or trigger warnings, or all that horse shit. And we were growing up as independent, strong adults, eventually. And currently, we have implemented some weird corporate idea that we need to protect people. You're not protecting people to take competition away from them or take the notion of winning or losing from them away. If you want to drive healthy, independent human beings that are also a bit competitive, and that means to get the most out of yourself, then you need to expose them to things they may not like or find it hard to deal with. Grow up, deal with it, right? But they're trying to level out this whole playing field with skill-based matchmaking, and even during a match, it's now completely rigged, where you are just being held back, your hits are not registering, the ticks are not going through packet loss, and the server tick is just off, and it's all manipulated to make sure that everybody ends the match with a 1.0, 1.1 KD, and sometimes you shine. If you stay long enough away from Call of Duty and you log back on, and yeah, sure, you will have a 2.6 or a 3.2 KD, and fine, but right after that, the math is starting in the background, and you're being forcefully manipulated against your will, and you will not have that physical or mental competition conducted according to rules with the participants in direct competition of each other. You're already begin with your hands behind your back because you are shining, and I think it's also a bit weird because while doing that, they've implemented systems that actually drive total sweatiness in this game, like the Omni movement right now. It's just I don't get it. I love my Pro controllers as well, and I've got them from PlayStation, my Xboxes, and SCUF controllers. But my first objective of playing a game is, one, having fun, amuse myself, because if you're taking different sets, an activity that one's engages in for amusement or fun is one of the other definitions of gaming, playing games, and that should be on the forefront. I have a feeling that a lot of people of the younger generation have a hard time just just casually hanging back and enjoying something, right? Everything needs to be a competition, you know. God forbid you make a mistake or you have a zero point 0.9 KD at the end of the road, you know. Who gives a rat's ass? It's a video game as long as you have fun. On top of that, they removed every form of interaction in the Call of Duty franchise, which bothers me the most. I think I come from a period where we just have constant open mics, lobbies that didn't break up, or you know, everybody stayed together. And yeah, there was a lot of smack, but people had some well, room to take some hits and also make fun of that. You know, it was a lot of fun also, and you met a lot of people online. And it's pretty hard here in Call of Duty when you're on your own. Most of them just have their mics off, don't talk, or you hear that TikTok bullshit in the background or music in the background, or there is no real genuine interaction anymore. So they're trying to level it out, trying to protect people from what other people might say. But on the other side, they're implementing all these kinds of mechanics that makes it so sweaty that every match feels like somebody is just that. I've got a feeling that people think they will get shot if they don't try the max level hard and get those 360 node scopes while jumping out of a window with omni movement. But I fully get it. I fully take it. I'm 45 years old, so maybe it's not my game anymore. That could also be. But from an objective standpoint, I don't understand why these games have a yearly release and people yearly come back to buy the same bullshit. Everything we had from a certain point when they start launching yearly, eventually we're just buying updates and small upgrades for full price games year after year after year. But okay, just let's look at the game and let's look at the merits of the game. And if we're looking at the single player campaign, it's actually, I think, one of the best we've had in recent years. It's not that bad. There are some fun pieces in there. The AI is atrocious. It doesn't make any freaking sense. There is a section with a Bill Clinton election event or Congress or whatever conference, and you can literally stand next to guards and just pass by them and nothing will happen. You know, it's the AI doesn't make sense. If you really want to enjoy some level of competition with AI, I would advise you to crank it up to the most hardest difficulties, and then it's an okay-ish challenge, I would say. But on the lower difficulties, it's just a small interactive movie, but it's okay. The story is decent, and I think the graphics are atrocious as well. It's 2024. I think we're looking at the same graphics year after year. I know Call of Duty is not the go-to game for graphics, considering the engine is running on, but okay, there is room for maneuver and improvement. But one of the biggest flaws is developing for cross-generation platforms. You know, stop doing that. And we know Activision is money hungry, but you're that money hungry that you're developing for 13-year-old hardware. Jesus freaking Christ, it's holding the game back. The full stop. Of course, the pre-rendered cutscenes and the cinematics are all probably on point, but there is some stutter and jitter left and right from ray tracing and shadow effects. The overall presentation is for 4 years of development. I believe it's a bit flawed, you know. But overall, the campaign is a fun thing to go through once and then never touch again. Zombies, I hear from the community. I've played it once. I'm not a zombie fan myself. I do the only mode or release I actually enjoy till this day is Outbreak, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. It's a bit of a controversial opinion, I get that, but I just like to hang back and do stuff on my own and don't be bothered by anything and do some assignments left and right and just see how far you can come. It's a bit, at the end, a bit dull. Not a lot of updates, not a lot of new missions that came out for it, but okay, fun. I'm enjoying that open world. It's a bit of controversial because for the hardcore zombies fans, what I see and what I hear online is that it's actually well received. So kudos there. I do understand. You know, it can be fun, zombies, especially when you're with 3 or 4 of your friends playing it. So kudos to that. But the main source of attention is the multiplayer, and if this is 4 years of development, we've heard that narrative before. I believe it was Modern Warfare 2, the most advanced Call of Duty. It's going to be the most updated and advanced Call of Duty. It's all horseshit. And now we've got 4 years, 4,000 developers. Really, this is it? You're actually downgrading yourself, because if this is what you poop out after 4 years of development with 4,000 people, holy shit, mate. This is not great. The maps are mediocre at best. The Omni movement and the overall flow of the game is completely sweaty. There is, from the first second you walk into a lobby, you're just like, it's hard to breathe sometimes. There is an inconsistency across the board. That's just because your game is rigged, manipulated. God forbid that weak Timmy is being slaughtered at the end with a 0.3 KD, and that somebody's in the lobby with an 8.0 KD. I don't give a shit. You know, those were the fun days. Lobbies need to break up because the program needs to recalculate that you need to be put in an environment where you can't shine. And they now poured out Nuketown. Yesterday there were some friends over, and they were gone around 11:30. Decided to hop on, just check out Nuketown. The last Nuketown that actually was fun, and to be fair, for me the most fun multiplayer at this point is still Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Again, a controversial opinion, but I just can't work with Infinity Ward or Sledgehammer games, and I think Modern Warfare 3 does look a lot better now we have Black Ops 6. But yeah, Nuketown in Black Ops Cold War it flowed good. It flowed good, and although skill-based matchmaking was already a thing, I did have the feeling in-game that I really controlled my gameplay. With this game, I hopped on, I played 2.5 matches, and then I was absolutely done. I was absolutely done with the amount of... I had one... I didn't clip it, but I had one instance that I shot an entire magazine on someone, and the hit markers went that double hit markers, and he didn't die, and I got killed in the end. And that was the moment I logged off. That's the atrocious, sad state of Call of Duty at this point, and I'm questioning this. I know it's the biggest launch. They've sold a lot. Kudos, but the question is, how long is this going to last? I can't accept the fact that eventually the community is not going to turn their back to this franchise in mass. If everybody would do it for 1 year, then Call of Duty will change immediately. If everybody in the Call of Duty community can urge themselves not to pre-order the next Call of Duty, don't pre-order, not, and eventually also not buying the Call of Duty on release, the statement you make as a community is enormous. But that's just wishful thinking, because yes, you can say, oh, you also bought it. Yeah, I also bought it, for sure. Wanted to check it out, and that is where Call of Duty, I think, shines, that people wanted to check it out, or you have people fear of missing out. But at the end of the day, objectively speaking, this is not a game anymore. This is a money machine, and I'm a capitalist, 100%. And I think people should earn a lot of money when you're selling honest, good stuff. And this is not honest, good stuff anymore. Black Ops 6, 4 out of 10 max. And it's not getting any better. I think it was a 5 out of 10 when it released. With Nuketown, it's a 4 out of 10. To save this year, I think they're going to bring back Summit, Firing Range, Standoff, and just to save the franchise with these good old maps. That's it. So, guys, you enjoying it? You're playing it? What is your opinion on it? And hope you can drop some comments here. Respectfully, obviously, everybody has his opinion. If you're enjoying it, kudos to you. You have a $70, $80 well spent game in your hand. So I admire you, but I'm not. So I'm looking forward to your input, guys. This was my 15-minute take on Black Ops 6. Woman 6. Out.